Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Threadheads with me, Paula, and if you hear crunching in the background, that's S'more. I had to move her food dish in here because she's pregnant. But anyway, now this week we're gonna back it up to episode 2 because while looking for updates for the very first story, because it was an ongoing thing, OP kind of got tagged in her BF's Reddit post or if you remember, she said her BFF, who was dating her brother, had her own Reddit, so that's why she had an account and she was changing things so people wouldn't find it. But people were tagging OP in her friend's Reddit posts, and OP commented, and I got the Reddit stories. So this one, it's just going to be all of OP's friends, Mia or Maya, or however we're going to say Mia. We're just going to call her M, okay? For M's story on here, because she has well over 50 posts, all dating to before her pregnancy, maybe a little bit after. A lot of them I had to go into an archives post because they were deleted. Sometimes she posted twice, and that's why they were deleted. But let's get into it, shall we? Just a reminder, we will have a massive trigger warning for child abuse, grooming, domestic violence, rape, teen pregnancy, and suicide attempts and self-harm. Because this is M's side of the story and everything like that, please do not hate on her. She is 15. She was 14 when she got pregnant. Alright? I'll try and keep my opinions to myself for as much as possible because of how many posts she has, and I don't want this episode to go too long. But OP also, or M as we will call her, kinda went and said in her bio that she lied about her boyfriend's baby daddy's age at first, and people clocked it, and she addressed it. So, let's get into it, shall we? Am I overreacting for not wanting to go to Christmas Eve dinner? Posted on December 23rd, 2024. For context, I, 15 female, am currently 13 weeks pregnant, and my boyfriend, 17 male, is the father, and things have been more than hectic. My mother's obviously not happy about it, and is really mad at my boyfriend and his parents, and place a lot of blame on them, when it's actually only my fault. I lied to her about not being sexually active, and my boyfriend convinced me to allow him to stop using condoms and just let him pull out, which we were kind of successful at for a bit. But this situation has been difficult because I obviously love my mom, and her opinions and advice really matter to me. So I just feel like I'm stuck in the middle between my mom and my boyfriend. But if I had to choose a side, it would probably be with my mom, which sucks because I feel like it should be the opposite, but lately he hasn't been the best boyfriend to me, and it honestly makes me reconsider having my baby with him and do it alone. I'm wondering, was I wrong in these texts, and should I be more compassionate to his feelings? And I'm debating, do I gather some energy and just go to the dinner, because I don't want to fight with him and make this already difficult situation more difficult. I just don't want to be vomiting the entire time. And let's see if we have the text. No, this is another one of the deleted posts. So to be honest, OP M, because, we're just going to call her M. You didn't want to go to dinner. You felt like you were going to be vomiting the whole time. I honestly don't think you'd have to go if you didn't want to. You didn't have to be compassionate to him because he kind of put you in this situation himself, because as you stated in the whole it was your fault because you didn't tell your mom you were sexually active, he convinced you to just let him stop wearing condoms. First and foremost, I feel like he was trying to baby trap you because I know the situation from your friend's side. But that's just my opinion there. Let's get some relative comments. I feel so bad for your mom. Imagine your 15-year-old daughter bringing this entire hot mess into your life and you have no choice but to contend with it, otherwise you risk losing your daughter and grandbaby. If I were your mom, I would be blazing hot mad at you for having a baby with such a raging POS and then basically forcing me to contend with you and the idiot you decided to have a baby with and his entire idiot family. And it's not even about his mom, it's about the fact that he wants to have sex, pretty much. Please listen to your mom. Please do not force her to have a relationship with these idiots. Makes me feel bad because I already know what happens with her mom. Another comment is, if some little weasel knocked up my kid and then talked about my wife like that, he wouldn't have a Christmas this year. On the bright side, many teen dads bail pretty quickly. He didn't bail, though. He kind of got arrested. He's blaming you for not having sex with him because he didn't want to use protection and now you're incredibly sick. This kid will be a terrible dad and he doesn't care about you. It's easier to be a single mom of one baby than a single mom of one baby and one man-child. Right? Pretty much all the comments are telling her not to go. So, there's that. Next post. There are 2 deleted posts that even the archives can't even get back. One is your vajayjay supposed to hurt this early? And it was in Baby Bumps subreddit. And then the other one is, a lot of these are going to be in the 2 hot takes subreddit. The other one is, my boyfriend and his family feel like I'm trying to make them a deadbeat. But it was deleted. The next one that we have in the archives is from the Baby Bumps subreddit. And it was posted December 31st, 2024. Are gender reveals worth it? So, I'm 14 weeks, 15 weeks Thursday, so it's about a week later, obviously. But we find out the gender of the baby this week, and we still haven't figured out, do we want to do a gender reveal? Personally, I just don't feel like hosting because I'm having the worst morning sickness. My doctor told me I have HD, and it's so bad I have to go into the doctor's office to get IV therapy just to have a little relief. But I'm still vomiting like crazy. The Christmas smells, I can't explain it. It does something to me in the worst ways, plus I'm always exhausted and out of breath. My boyfriend wants one because this is my first baby, and also his, but he also won't be mad if we don't throw one, but I can't tell if he wants one. So did anyone have a good experience with their gender reveals? I mean, you don't have to have one if you don't want one. Next one is from the AITA subreddit. Am I the asshole for wanting my boyfriend to get rid of his truck? It was posted on January 2nd, 2025. This whole thing might be my fault, so here I am bearing out my heart to Reddit. But today, I'm 15 weeks pregnant, and today was the day we found out the gender. So, instead of having my mom take me, I decided to let my boyfriend take me to my OB, which I was already nervous about because he has a habit of being late. And my OB I'm seeing is out of state because I'm a high-risk pregnancy, and my state has strict regulations regarding pregnancy now, so it's better safe than sorry, so we take the 4-hour round-trip drive. But he was actually on time. However, he picked me up in his truck, which this truck is not a normal pickup. It's very raised, heavily modded, and it sounds like a bus. I used to be able to get in with no help before I was pregnant. Now I need his assistance to get in. I'm 5 foot exactly, and he's 6'4", which he doesn't understand why it would be so hard for me to get in and out. I have HG, which is severe morning sickness, and the entire time I'm in this truck, I'm vomiting nonstop, and we have to pull over a couple times. Because the way his truck drives, the exhilaration nearly gives you whiplash, and it's not a smooth ride. He told me the reason he couldn't drive his mom's Toyota was because she was blocked in by 2 cars, and he didn't want to risk being late by moving the cars. I was nearly crying because of just how unbearable the car ride was. We get to the appointment, we weren't late, and it was honestly fine. He seemed excited seeing the ultrasound, but he threw me another curveball by telling the doctor to put the gender of the baby in an envelope because he wants a gender reveal, and that honestly pissed me off because we didn't agree to that. But because it's our first kid, he thinks we should have one. I didn't want one for the simple fact that I didn't like entertaining guests, plus the pregnancy was unplanned, and I'm still embarrassed about people knowing. So of course, we get in a minor argument when we get back in the car because I was clearly annoyed with him. He tells me he feels like whatever he does, it's still never enough, that he's trying, and my issue with him is I feel like he makes decisions without consulting with me. That's when I lay on him that I think he should get rid of the truck for a more family-friendly car, and of course he took it like I told him to get rid of his dog. That's when I tried to compromise and say he should at least have the truck lowered and make the car be able to ride more smoothly. That's when he shot back that he has dumped so many paychecks into his truck and the truck means a lot to him. Plus, he threw back in my face I used to love his truck and that we most likely conceived our baby in the back seat. I'm starting to feel bad and that I'm asking a lot out of him and not considering his feelings, but I'm so annoyed with him and it might be my hormones. But also with the very way his truck is, how in the hell are we going to take a 20-pound car seat in and out of the truck? Plus the truck scares me and I don't even think it's safe. But am I the a-hole? Honestly, OP, I don't think you are the a-hole in that one, because I wouldn't want to be in the truck either, because like you said, you can't get the car seat in and out. You are pregnant and he said you were fine with it before. That was before you weren't pregnant, first off. Second off, I want to strangle this guy. Just so glad he has a court case going on against him. First comment: take a deep breath. Def some hormones in the book. I get your issue, and I also don't think it's fair of you to take anything from him. I'd lessen your expectations. It may help. I mean, I would take a deep breath, but I would also leave him. But he kinda Stockholm syndromed you and groomed you. So another commenter said, NTA, this isn't about the truck. Go read the rest of OP's posts. The relationship is already on the rocks because of her boyfriend's shitty behavior. Honestly, you two shouldn't be having kids together. You can't communicate to save your lives. He's a complete a-hole to you, and neither of you want even remotely similar things. How's that going to play over when the newborn infant is involved? Another comment says, you're the asshole. I see and understand the complaints regarding the truck, but this sounds like something you've never brought up to him based on the info you've given, and it's unfair to drop this major request on him now after talking about it. You could have foreseen the truck being an issue and requested a different car, then talked about the truck later and more gently. I think this person's comment doesn't understand. You know? M commented, M is OP, by the way. So I did tell him to drive his mom's car, but he told me he couldn't get the car because 2 other vehicles were blocking it and he didn't want to risk making me late to my appointment by moving both cars and reparking them. And this is where I'm saying he could have left a little bit earlier to move the cars, you know? But that's my take. Somebody commented to OP and responded saying, damn, did this genius think about moving the cars like 5 minutes earlier? It's so sad you two are having a baby. It doesn't take forever to move a freaking car. But like I said, she's 15. I will give her a pass. She also posted it in Am I Overreacting? And they deleted it out of there. Or she deleted it. I don't know. And then she posted 2 days later in the pregnant subreddit. So on January 4th, 2025, does HG ever let up? I'm 15 weeks pregnant, and this is quite literally the most miserable condition to ever have, and I thought once I reached my second trimester, it would be more manageable. But I feel like it's increasingly getting worse, and I actually might have a breakdown because it's affecting my normal everyday tasks. Also, my mom is growing concerned because I'm losing weight, and I'm kind of confused how that's even happening because I feel like the bump is trying to make her appearance. But is there anyone who also has the same thing? And if so, how do you manage it? Also, does it stop as the pregnancy progresses? I honestly don't know. I've never been pregnant, so. There was one post in Am I Overreacting 4 days later saying, am I overreacting by telling my family I would have my baby alone before allowing their drama near it? And it was removed. Even the archives can't get it. So the next one is from True Off My Chest, dated January 18th, 2025. I think my boyfriend intentionally got me pregnant. To be fully transparent, I'm 15 years old and I'm 17 weeks pregnant with my little boy. The father of my baby is my boyfriend, 17 male, and we've been together for almost a year on Valentine's Day, but I've known him since I was 10 platonically. Prior to me getting pregnant, we've never fought, and since I've gotten pregnant, go figure, civil war has practically broken out, especially between our parents. My mom thinks my boyfriend brainwashed me and groomed me since we're kinda 3 years apart, But I'm telling y'all, he did not groom me. The feelings were mutual in our relationship, and it happened very organically. His parents are pissed with my mom because they don't like the narrative she's spreading, so it's just a whole mess, and it has caused fights between us. We recently got in a fight because he will be going off to boot camp for the military in March, and he was talking to me about what are the odds for my mom to sign off on me marrying him when I turn 16 next November. As we know, age of consent in that state is 16 from episode 2. I told him they're extremely low because my mom wants to keep me home as long as she can. Plus, I already kind of asked her about it, and she sees me marrying him as her signing me up to have another baby. He gets really mad about it and told me that I let my mom dictate everything and that she's going to prevent him from being a father to this baby. Also, the goal is for us to get good benefits and get on-base housing for us and the baby. That's when he started reiterating that it wasn't supposed to go like this, and it just ended very badly. I ended up FaceTiming my best friend just crying, because I feel like everyone is just constantly mad at me, and I was just overwhelmed. I opened up and told her about all the drama and recapped our fight, and that's when she told me she thinks he got me pregnant on purpose, because he knew he was going off to the military and wanted to be able to string me along. I didn't want to believe that he would do that to me on purpose. I had a meltdown when the 3 tests were positive, and he was there for that, and he seemed genuinely shocked too. But also he was the one that wanted us to stop using condoms, and he told me that he would pull out. And I trusted him to know what he was doing because, no shade, my boyfriend got around prior to us dating, so I trusted him. Bad move, OP. Bad move. So I trusted him to be a pro at that stuff. I don't think any guy is a pro at that, but sure. But I also should take accountability too, because I didn't really know much about sex to be even doing it, and I should have did proper research on it. I knew how babies were made, but the other stuff, not really. My first time was an actual shock, and definitely a core memory. But my point is, I trust my boyfriend to know more than me, which I now know was wrong. Do you guys actually think he planned this? Absolutely. Absolutely. From the moment he said, I can pull out. No. Let's do some research. Okay, so, as Google says, because we did our research, while men can intend to remember to pull out, the withdrawal method, pulling out, is not a reliable form of birth control, and it's on its own, because it requires significant self-control and perfect timing, which is difficult to achieve constantly during the height of sexual pleasure. And we already know from the very first story, OP didn't tell her mom she was sexually active, so she was not on birth control, so he should have been still wearing a condom. Okay. Relative comments. At 17, he is not a pro, no matter how much he's gotten around, and if he refused to wear a condom, well, whether he's trying to get you pregnant or not, yeah, it sounds like he might as well have been. It was probably inevitable. Pulling out is not foolproof. You're in a really crappy situation, and honestly, it sounds like the only person who's deeply in your corner is your mother. Another comment is, you know what they call people who rely exclusively on the pull-out method? Parents. It's literally the least reliable method of birth control going. Even if, and it's a big if, he manages to not come inside her every single time, pre-cum often has sperm cells swimming in there, and it only takes a couple making it to the egg to result in a baby. Dude is either ignorant as hell or actively trying to get her pregnant. Pretty much, the pull-out method does not work. Another comment says, yeah, for real, my friend Louise and his wife use the pull-out method as their only form of birth control. They have 3 kids. Another comment is, story time. I used the pull-out method with my ex for 5 years and never once got pregnant. After we broke up, I started dating my current husband and immediately got pregnant after having sex twice with that method. I honestly think my ex was probably infertile. Yeah. Another comment is, yep, I got caught out by the pull-out method. For context, I'm not 15, I'm 31, and have fertility issues, and my ex was also subfertile. We got cocky and stupid, but he always said he wanted kids, and I knew I had challenges in that area, and he would support me if anything happened. I always wanted to use a condom unless it was right before my period, a couple of days before, and I was already spotting, but he started to want to take more risks in other times of my cycle, and one month in the heat of the moment, we did the pull out for half of it, and then he put a condom on. He continued to keep trying to go unprotected until a week before breaking up with me. While he was so open to taking risks, knowing deep down the relationship was coming to an end, I was unaware at the time. 2 to 3 weeks later, couldn't remember exactly, I had a very late bleed and was very unwell. Next cycle was a mess. My consultant and I believe I had an early chemical pregnancy. He broke up with me 2 weeks after I told him, about a month after it happened, as I didn't believe it or know what to think at first. I'm not an idiot for taking the risk, but I'm also 31, have savings, and wanted kids, so knowing if the pregnancy had lasted once my period was late, I would have kept it regardless of his input and felt mature enough to access the consequences of my decision. Yeah, so everybody in the comments is saying, basically, even if he didn't want to OP without using a condom, the pull-out method is not going to work, and he was probably going to get you pregnant regardless. Next post is from r/pregnant, was posted on January 22nd, 2025. How does the first kick feel? So I'll be 18 weeks tomorrow, but I'm like really eager to feel him kick just to know the feeling of it. Like at my sonogram appointments, the text always says he's moving and I generally don't feel it. So like, what feeling am I looking for? My mom thinks I'm being impatient about it, and I will know when he kicks for the first time because I'll feel it. But I don't know, the anticipation is killing me. I know my son is annoyed with me putting headphones on my stomach and pressing down on him a bunch, lol. That's a good question. I've never been pregnant. So, let's go to the comments. First comment is, ha ha ha, you will know. I felt flutters for the first time at 17 weeks, but they were so subtle I wouldn't have known if I were doing a task, and it wasn't daily either until about 20-ish weeks. 22 weeks now, and he's constantly moving. Multiple times at most hours of the day, it seems. I will say, though, I couldn't feel him on the outside. You can just barely see his kicks on my stomach. My husband can't feel him at all yet. He thinks he felt him only a time or two, but I also have an anterior placenta. What is an anterior placenta? Hold on. Research. An anterior placenta is when the placenta grows in the front of the uterus closest to the abdomen. It is common, not harmful, and usually not noticed by you or the baby. So it's wherever the egg plants itself, apparently. Another comment was, to me it felt like tiny bubbles or like a tiny fish fluttering, like a tickling inside your belly. Another comment is, if you have an anterior placenta, like we just learned, the kicks will be felt later, much fainter and harder to differentiate from gas. I had 2 babies with anterior placentas, and this one with a posterior placenta, and they were so much more definite little kicks now, way earlier than with my other 2. Facts, I'm 21 weeks with an anterior placenta, and I can't tell if it's baby or gas. I am 31, and I don't want to get pregnant anytime soon, so I will agree with you guys on that one. Next one's from the 2 Hot Takes subreddit, and it was posted January 27th, 2025. Am I being ridiculous for being mad at my boyfriend for something his friend said? For context of the text, I will be reading the text at the end. My boyfriend and I were playing Mario Party with his friends on Discord, and it was fine and fun for the most part. Right when we were signing off, they asked my boyfriend what he was doing for his birthday next weekend, and he says, like me, him and his family were just going to go down to the big city and get a hotel. That's when his friends turned his attention toward me and asked what I was getting him and stuff, and I just said, I don't know, because I don't like his friend. And then his friend then asked me oh, are you guys going to be alone in a hotel room? And I just said, well, he is my boyfriend, so you put the pieces together. And that's when he says, well, that's nice, just make sure to keep it all down this time. And his 2 other friends just erupted in laughter. What he was referring to was last weekend, my boyfriend and I were intimate, and I should add, I'm 18 weeks pregnant and I have severe HG that just caused me to constantly vomit, and during our intimacy vomited. I had a meltdown because how exhausted I am not having control of my body and just embarrassed by it. So I was obviously pissed that my boyfriend told them what was going on in the bedroom, because I have also sent him intimate photos of my entire face, and in these pics of let him record me while in the bedroom. I also know my trust is completely broken, and it makes me wonder what other personal stuff if he has said to them. He obviously is apologetic about the situation, but I'm still so mad. Am I being ridiculous here? For backstory, why I don't like the friend is because I'm biracial, and this same friend has come up to me and asked, oh, so you're half N-word with a hard R? Oh, he said the hard R. We just won't communicate with that man then. He said, okay, so OP's boyfriend said, my girlfriend is beautiful. And she responded, leave me alone, I'm still mad at you. And he said, baby, please, I'm really sorry though. They weren't making fun of you, I promise. It's just a funny story. And she said, no, it's not funny being the punchline of the joke, when I literally had a meltdown when it happened. And he said, I think you're just in your head about it. Sex is not that embarrassing. Nearly 90% of the population do it. I just think the baby is making you sensitive, babe. And she responded with, you don't know what it's like to be a girl, obviously, because watch your friends or go tell their girlfriends, and their girlfriends are going to tell their friends, and so on, and now everyone knows I'm vomiting during sex. This honestly makes me don't ever want to send you nudes anymore because I feel like you would show your friends now. And he responds with, sorry for the late response, I'm at work, but you do realize you're pregnant, so everyone knows, like, we definitely banged. And then she responded with, that's not the point though. It's about you sharing something I obviously feel embarrassed about and letting your friends make me the punchline of a joke. He says, listen, I love you, and I'm already telling you I'm sorry about it, and I'm willing to shut up for now. For what it's worth, I didn't find it embarrassing, and I still think you're hot, and we would have kept going if you wanted me to. That's how non-grossed out I was. She said, I'm still mad. I feel like you let them say or do anything to me without telling them to stop. Blank, his friend, had literally said the N-word with the hard R to me. And he said, I don't even hang out with Blank for that reason alone. I just see him in group settings. Also, I did defend you yesterday. I told them to shut the fuck up immediately after and chewed them out when you left the call. But yeah, that's all she put. Yeah, no. Relevant comments. Why do I get this weird feeling you're like 20 years old or younger? I feel so bad for you and your future life. And then somebody says post history, she's 15, and the other person says 15. For F's sakes. So not a lot of people know that she's 15 in this post. And then somebody says, for real, she needs to buckle up because it usually goes downhill after the baby. And then somebody comments saying, I mean, she just fully admitted her BF records her in the bedroom. So they're literally making CP material together, and that's what the actual F. Yeah, no, OP, there are so many things that need to be reported. Somebody should have reported this long ago. Somebody else commented, because every sentence has a random like in the middle. If I was OP, I would have wanted somebody to report him, at least, you know? The next post is from the 2X Chromosomes subreddit, posted February 22nd, 2025. I'm having a baby at literally the worst time. I'm having a meltdown, not because of what anyone has really done to me, but because I'm just extremely overwhelmed. For context, I actually turned 22 weeks pregnant today. I'm 15 years old and a sophomore in high school. My boyfriend, 18 male, and I want to hurt her because he's actually 19 at this point, almost 20. My boyfriend, 18 male, and I have been together for a year at this point. Of course, the baby was unplanned, and it was kind of my negligence for getting pregnant. I don't know the whole lot about intercourse, so most of my knowledge came from my friends and what I learned from the one talk I had with my mom. It's hard to have any conversations about it with her because of how religious she is, so being intimate for the first time was honestly scary for me. I didn't expect it to hurt as much as it did. I even needed my squishmallow for support during it, lol. Were they in her room? Excuse me? Also, when I found out I was pregnant, I really couldn't process it. My mom figured it out right away because I wasn't using my period products. So when she confronted me about it, I just admitted it. She then put me in a lockdown for about a month. I asked her about potentially getting an abortion, and she told me she would be severely disappointed if I went that route and heavily guilted me about it. As for my boyfriend, at first, he respected whatever decision I wanted to make, but then, at the last minute, when he was supposed to take me to get an abortion, he convinced me that we could have this baby and be fine. For the most part, he has been trying, but I would be lying if I said we haven't had many arguments about this baby. At times, I don't even try to debate with him anymore. I just let him have his way and give him what he wants. He knows how to make me feel bad for having an opinion. Just the other day, he snapped at me and called me spoiled and lazy because my mom thinks I need to put him on child support regardless of whether we're together. He's joining the military, and if I do that, they would automatically take the money off his checks. He feels that since he's already providing health insurance for the baby and is already buying things, that should be enough. Also, for the context behind him calling me lazy, is because my mom isn't forcing me to get a job or work and is paying for pretty much everything. But that isn't true because she's subtracting the big expenses from my inheritance my dad left me / my college fund. To add insult to injury, my mom and boyfriend absolutely despise each other, and they can't be in the room for more than 10 minutes without wanting to argue. My mom believes my boyfriend groomed me, and my boyfriend thinks my mom is trying to push him out for being the dad, and that she controls me, so there's that. That's just the background about the people in my life, but the main reason for my meltdown is that I'm genuinely scared about giving birth. I'm already so uncomfortable all the time, and every time I go to a doctor's appointment, I'm badgered about being underweight and told I need to eat more. For reference, I'm 5 foot, and my starting weight before I was pregnant was 86 pounds. Now, I'm 95 pounds, and I felt like I was doing okay, but my doctor keeps saying I need to gain more weight, and she wants to see me at 120 pounds. She said if I don't make better progress, they don't think the anesthesiologist would feel comfortable giving me an epidural if I continue to be underweight. I'm really trying my best, and to be extra vulnerable, I was struggling with an eating disorder and was purging regularly, so it's already hard to eat full meals without wanting to cry. Then, to add to all this, I'm biracial. But I look very much black. My mom is white, and my boyfriend is white, so when I tell them about my fears, because black women die more often during childbirth, they think I'm being dramatic. I already feel like none of my medical concerns are actually being heard. My ribs have been hurting so much, and according to my doctor, the only way to cure it is for me to gain more weight. So, with me being considered underweight, having the risk of not being able to get an epidural, being a high-risk pregnancy, and being a black girl, I'm terrified. No one seems to care, because, why would they? I'm the girl who couldn't keep her legs closed, and I obviously deserve this result. I also really haven't thought about the part of being a mom. That's terrifying. I don't even remember the last time I held a newborn, and just last week, I didn't know baby boys needed surgery after they were born. I also want to preface this by saying that I do care about my baby boy. I'm starting to love him, and I would never purposely do something bad to him because I know he didn't ask to come into this life and be born under these circumstances. I'm just scared to be his mom or end up not being a good one. I have no idea what I'm doing or how to care for a baby. I know I'm likely going to be raising this baby alone, regardless if I'm with my boyfriend. Given who's our current president, I'm 85% sure he's going to be deployed out of the country. Edit, for those who are saying this is written too good to be from a 15-year-old. Well, you're high-key right. I uploaded my rough draft to ChatGPT to edit for grammar and misspellings because my last post I got roasted so badly for saying like too many times. Edit 2, thank you guys for the helpful feedback. I really do appreciate it. One thing I'm glad I learned from reading these comments is the part about circumcising him. The way my mom and doctor presented it to me is that it was to protect him from disease in the future, and it's more cleaner. I didn't know it was actually an elective surgery. Yeah, circumcision, you don't have to get it, but, But the first comment is, OP, please give yourself some love and grace. I'm sorry that you aren't taught that much about reproduction, but it's really not your fault. Your boyfriend is older and chose not to use protection. The pregnancy was created by him too. He does not sound like a very good guy, and I would recommend dumping him and going after child support. It's not okay that he got angry with you. It would not surprise me if your BF went after you because you're younger and more naive and easier to control. Your boyfriend paying a bit for supplies and health insurance isn't enough compared to the costs you will have, and that goodwill isn't being legally enforced, whereas child support can. Like you said, it will come out of his military pay. If he doesn't want to pay child support, he should have worn a condom. Baby boys do not need circumcision. It is an unnecessary surgery primarily done in America so the baby matches dad. You're not a bad person and you don't deserve punishment. Sending you so much care and good things, OP. Edit to add, OP, sex shouldn't be painful and it's not okay and really gross that you were in such pain and your boyfriend didn't care at all. It's not okay he knows what to say to make you feel bad. It's a shit person. OP, you have so much worth, truly. Somebody responded to that with, her boyfriend is 100% not a good guy, and if they've been together since she was 14 and he had sex with her clearly without true consent, on top of being illegally raped, horrifying situation, I hope OP is getting the support she needs. Mentioning she needs her Squishmallow for support during it is what absolutely broke me. She's 15, she's a child still. She needs a loving support network. From what it sounds like, doesn't have one. My heart breaks for OP. Yeah. I really want OP to get out of anywhere she is. Like, her best friend said she was living with her grandparents. But, I so want her grandparents to, take her and move her to another state. Alright, the next post is a Am I the Asshole story posted on February 27th, 2025. Would I be the asshole for not allowing my boyfriend in the room while I gave birth? So hi, I'm currently 23 weeks pregnant today, and a lot of family drama has unfolded. So right off the bat, my mom and my boyfriend, the father of my child, absolutely despise each other. Right now, the latest issue with them is regarding my birth plan. My original plan was to have my mom, my grandma, and boyfriend in the room. But both my mom and boyfriend both believe that the other shouldn't be in the delivery room. My mom doesn't want him there because she believes he would stress me out and cause issues and make it about himself. My boyfriend doesn't want my mom there because he doesn't want my mom to persuade me to circumcise my baby boy and try to stop me from giving our son his last name. I am honestly sick of both of them and their constant drama ever since it was announced I was pregnant. I met with a prenatal therapist today because my doctor recommended I should see one because I guess I tested low on the mental health evaluation, and opened up to her about what's going on, and she basically kind of validated my feelings and told me I should look into options of maybe not having them there in the room. So I'm heavily considering maybe just having my grandma there with me to keep things like neutral, but I feel like I'm doing too much by having my boyfriend miss the birth of his son and my mom miss the birth of her only daughter's childbirth. So I'm super conflicted. So would I be the asshole if I did this? No, because I honestly want to punch your boyfriend. First comment is, I went to the account and OP is 15 and boyfriend is 18. Now I kind of understand why mom hates him. Yep, but seeing as this post is where she lies and he's actually 19, almost 20. Yeah, or just turning 19. No, 19, almost 20. Yeah. And the comment is, so both her mom and boyfriend have failed her, and I'm going to side-eye the woman who raised the mom too. Punishing a child with a child for an unwanted pregnancy by her abuser is generationally monstrosity. There we go. Poor kid, she needs better adults all around. Hope she escapes, and soon. That's what I'm saying, bro. Somebody to agree with me. Another comment is, I'm not OP's mom and I hate him. Honey, let your mom take care of you on this one, okay? I think she really does want what's best for you. Another comment says, and realize being in the delivery room is not a spectator sport. It's a serious medical event that might require your person, please make it your mom, to make medical decisions to save your life. Another comment says, if that happens, I don't think the boyfriend is eligible to make these decisions, even if she wasn't a minor. But she is, so mom would definitely be the one to make medical decisions. And just saying, why should the child have a boyfriend's last name? It will be much easier if he has yours for doctor's appointments, school, traveling, etc. It will be better if you two have the same name. Maybe change it if you get married, but until then, he should have your name, OP. And somebody else commented, please don't marry this guy. I second that, OP. I hope this guy goes to prison. The next story is from the Too Hot Takes subreddit and was posted March 22nd, 2025. Am I overreacting, or is this lady from my church is pressuring me to giving my child to her daughter? For context, I'm 15 and I'm 26 weeks pregnant with my son. I grew up in a church, so I'm used to getting weird messages like this, but this one honestly takes the cake for me, and I'm struggling to figure out if she's being actually genuine or trying to offer me an option, or is trying to get me to give my baby to her daughter because she can't have kids. And then she had to post the pictures on her sub because the pictures got taken off. And then it says under the pictures, it says, so a couple of things I want to clear up. Yes, I did tell my mom about it right away, and she's obviously shocked and felt bad because I'm pretty sure the lady overheard my mom talking to someone else. But my mom is on my side, and she's not making me meet her or anything. But she's mad and wants to meet with the woman by herself. I do want to publicly out her, but my mom is afraid of confrontation with the church. And since my dad passed away, they kind of look down at her for being a single mom. So she's nervous that they will side with the lady, like a lot of you already guessed. Also, I'm not really active in the church, since I'm basically labeled worldly by simply just having a social life outside of the church, by participating in such stuff and having friends and that aren't a part of the church. And so the comments for the lady wanting that one, before we get to the text messages, is, yes, she most certainly is, and she's trying to make you feel bad. Did you notice how fast she switched up when you were straightforward with her and your boundaries? You should 100% go and tell your mom what she's doing and show her these messages. Edit to add, please don't meet her for lunch. A lot of people are telling her, yeah, it's rude. Go talk to your mother. But let's see what the texts say. Hey, Em, it's blank from church. I'm reaching out because I heard you were expecting a little one. I know you're only 15, so this must be very difficult for you and your family. Just know that we support you here at the congregation. You are never alone, and we are your village for anything you might need. Our Heavenly Father will constantly bless you for choosing to protect this innocent life. I also understand that this is a very scary situation, and you're too young to become a mother. Rest assured, I come to you with options. Oh boy, oh boy. Have you met my daughter Blank? You probably haven't seen her since you were very little. She lives in Oregon with her wonderful husband Blank. They live right by the ocean and have such a beautiful life, traveling the world together. They love each other very deeply and are extremely happy, but there is a hole in their hearts. They dream of having a family. Unfortunately, Blank is infertile. After years of trying to conceive, they have decided to adopt, but the process is expensive and lengthy. So when I heard about your pregnancy, I felt moved and compelled by the Lord to reach out to you. I know how young you are, and I remember you saying you wanted to become a doctor. I don't want you to lose that dream. I've also shown Blank your photos, and she thinks you... Excuse me? Oh, okay. I've already showed Blank your photos, and she thinks you're as cute as a button. That's not creepy at all. I told her you're a very sweet girl who lives a good life and is incredibly smart. You made a simple mistake, and you shouldn't have to be punished for it for the rest of your life. With that said, Blank and Blank would be more than happy to adopt your baby and love them unconditionally. I know this is a tough decision, but I truly believe it would be for the best choice for your future. You would be fulfilling two dreams, your dream of becoming a doctor and Blank's dream of having a family. She forgot to blank out the other person's name. For my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me in. Psalms 27:10. This scripture reminds us that even when you surrender your child, the Lord will take care of them. God will bless you for your selflessness, and your baby will also be blessed with a loving family. I encourage you to talk to your mother about this. I bet she'll be more than thrilled. Once you do, we can set up a lunch and FaceTime with Blank and Blank together. I can't wait to hear back from you. That's why. With love, Sister Blank. I would be confused, ma'am. OP responded with, well, hi, good morning, laughing, crying emoji. Very speechless. What an offer. That's very sweet of you and your daughter for extending that opportunity to me. And trust me, I did think about placing my son up for adoption, but I'm deciding to keep my baby. The random lady who messaged her said, oh wow, that's beautiful. I'm happy for you. May I ask what made you not want to adopt anymore or do adoption anymore? Also, it's a boy. That's neat to hear. When are you due? That's rather invasive. OP responded with, I just want my baby, and I feel like I know myself enough to know that it would be emotionally scarring for me to give him up. Random lady who texted her said, oh my dear beloved, you're way too over your head with this one. You're too young to grasp how hard motherhood is going to be. Your baby needs a two-parent household and stability, and this is a selfish choice you're making for your baby. Oh boy, we got another Bible verse. Philippians 2:3-4. Do not out of selfish abandon or vain conduct, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Do not look to your own interests, but to interests of others. OP responded with, me and my son's father are still together, and he's away at military boot camp. And even if we did end up not working out, my son will still have positive male role models in his life, which are my two older brothers and granddad. Also, I don't think it's selfish for wanting to keep my baby that I'm carrying. Random person that texted OP said, and you think being with someone in the military will offer good stability for your baby? My Blank and her husband have not moved since 2013 and have I'm sorry. I want to strangle this lady or punch her. My Blank and her husband have not moved since 2013 and have stable, flexible jobs that would allow them to properly raise your baby properly. Why'd you have to put properly in that sentence twice? You're still in high school and still depending on your mom. So yes, I do see it as selfish for you to keep your son when there's a wonderful family that would raise him well because you're attached. We should still meet for lunch to properly discuss this. OP responded with, I really don't like the way this conversation is going, and it's making me honestly uncomfortable. You should go talk to my mom, honestly. Yeah, no, I would be uncomfortable too. But the comments to that one were, first comment was, your post probably got removed because Tyler from Teen Moms put your post in his story, and the mods were trying to protect you. OP said, I did not know that. Makes sense. Why the post blew up. I gotta delete some posts then. That's why she deleted some things. What did he say on his story? I want to know what he said. Another comment was, I read about your situation 2 months ago, and I wanted to see if things have gotten better for you. Apparently they haven't. I don't know you, but my heart hurts for you. I wish you had someone in your corner. This woman is a fucking lunatic. She is trying to take advantage of you while you're vulnerable. Her actions are absolutely disgusting and unforgivable. What's worse is she's using God and the Bible to justify her despicable behavior. She is spiritually manipulating / abusing you and trying to guilt you into giving her a grandchild. She's weaponizing religion to get what she wants. Even if you did want to give your son up for adoption, that woman's cruel, coercive actions should disqualify her from becoming a grandmother to anyone's child. That's the cringiest, most entitled, manipulative bullshit I've read in a long time. I know this happened a month ago, but I'm fuming on your behalf. This path you chose won't be an easy one, but you seem to know that already. You sound like a smart, determined child who made a mistake, but refused to become a statistic. Keep that determination. It will serve you well in life. I made mistakes in my youth too, and there was no shortage of adults who tried to prey on me. I wish I could protect you from all those sharks that are circling you now. Try to stay strong. If not for yourself, then do it for your little boy. Don't be afraid to tell people no. As a little girl, I was taught to be polite and accommodating to adults. I'm guessing you were too. Well, fuck that. You don't have to be nice to anyone who doesn't have your best interest in mind. I wish somebody could say that about her baby daddy. You know? Kick him to the curb. But that's just my thoughts about it. The next story is from Baby Bump subreddit. It was posted April 3rd, 2025. Why do I feel this lingering fear that my baby will come early? I know this is most likely normal jitters, but I'm so unbelievably anxious and stressed. I'm 28 weeks, but I've been having this lingering fear that my son is going to come early. I don't know why I feel this way, but I do. Maybe because my mom said I was an early baby and my doctor is measuring him really big already. But psychology is fucking with me a lot. Even the process I already made with buying his crib and cleaning out the spare room, I still feel like I have so much shit to do, and I honestly cry every time I think about everything I need to get done because it's nowhere complete. Plus, it's becoming very hard to get around with my belly. I went from having barely a bump to a matter, I swear, 3 weeks of having a very noticeable bump. I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing a lot of things I shouldn't be doing, which is moving furniture and lifting things that are more than 50 pounds, but I simply can't help it because I can't fully be at ease if the project isn't complete. Oh, she's nesting. However, I do need to listen to my body because my body is constantly sore and I'm always out of breath. Plus, the other day, I was setting up a closet system for his bedroom and he kicked me so damn hard, I was shocked. It made me feel like he was telling me to chill the fuck out and sit down. Yeah, he probably was. I mean, mothers go into nesting, so he was probably just like, Mom, stop, sit. I could ask for help, and trust me, I have a lot of people offering. But I had a very weird experience a couple weeks back with someone from my church, and is also very connected in community with really pushy about adopting my baby, and it's really freaking me out because how mad she got when I told her no, I'm keeping him. It made me feel like if I don't hand over my baby, that she was going to find a way to get him. That I would be scared too. So I've been very scared to let outside people help me because of that situation. I honestly want to cancel my baby shower, just so I don't face negative opinions from people. As of right now, the only people I feel like I can trust is my family, my baby daddy's family, and they've all been helpful, but I don't want to wear out their help. But with this situation, I do feel like it might be also affecting my mental health, because I just been feeling so hopeless and depressed that maybe I'm in over my head about this, and maybe I should consider adoption. I'm so annoyed that my mom barely stood up for me to that woman and wants to take the high road. So it makes me miss my boyfriend, who's also my child's father. As much as we have our issues, he would never allow someone to make me feel this way and stand up for me. It's been lonely without him, but the reason for his absence is he's at boot camp for the military, and the unit he's in, they make them have no contact unless for emergencies, and we can only exchange letters. As I'm reading this back, it looks like I'm rambling, so my bad. I don't know what the point of this post is, just to share how I feel at the moment and wanted support. I get it, OP. You're nesting at this point. And that's what most mothers do. It looks like she can't delete it off her page, so I can't read the comments. I'm reading them off the archive, guys. So, let's see. Yeah, she deleted it off her thing. So, next post is from the r/vent subreddit, posted in April 6th, 2025. My church is making my pregnancy awful. Before I start, let me provide context. I, 15 female, am 28 weeks pregnant with my little boy, and my boyfriend/baby daddy, 18 male, is away at boot camp, and I can't talk on the phone with him unless it's for emergencies, and right now, we can only communicate through letters. But to vent, I'm so fucking overwhelmed and stressed, not even really because I'm pregnant, it's more so that people in my life that I just feel so ganged up on and not protected. I grew up in a church, so everyone knows me and my family pretty well. So when I got pregnant, it has become open season to gossip about me, which is not the reason I'm upset about, like, I'm expecting it. This woman was bored, but personally, I thought they would just exile me and mark me as a bad association since I've seen them do that to other women, but it's been quite the opposite. Instead, I feel like they decided that they feel like they should have my baby or at least bully me to give up my son to one of the better couples in our church. I have no idea why they feel so strongly about getting me to give up my son. There are like so many kids in foster care that need homes. Why my baby? I already had a few people text me about it or offer me that opportunity to let them adopt my son. I did decline those people, and those people are really understanding and respected me. But this one woman, when I told her no, she got so hostile with me and almost like angry because I told her I'm keeping my son. The whole interaction with that woman was honestly made me very severely depressed for these past couple of weeks. But also, just so many people think that I'm not capable of being a mom or like deserve to keep him. Like, I get it. I'm aware that I'm an idiot that didn't know what sex truly was and didn't use protection and just relied on my boyfriend because I honestly thought it was people that got naked and dry humped. Oh, poor baby. I didn't know truly until my boyfriend showed me and taught me, but I'm at least trying to be more smart moving forward. I'm on track to graduate high school early in December. If I keep up my assignments, which honestly I've been trying to do as much as work as possible because I refuse to drop out and be a statistic, but it just doesn't matter to outside people. Me and my mom have been fighting because of the church and these women messaging me. I feel like she's not standing up for me when it was her that scared me away from adoption and abortion, so she's not saying literally anything in my defense, or at least tell them knock it off. Instead, she just turns around and invites them to my baby shower and told me to be more forgiving when these women genuinely scare me and seem like they would do something crazy to get my baby. I tried to open up about how I've been feeling in therapy yesterday, and I told her how I do miss my boyfriend, and that I miss feeling protected by him, and that he would never let things go the way they are going. Of course, she made it so weird and implied that my attraction to my boyfriend is because he fathers me. I don't have daddy issues. I know my dad, and I love my dad, and the time I did get to have with him, I'm so glad I did. He's just no longer alive. So she pissed me off too. I'm just so sad, and I feel like I'm getting so much outside attention and bad energy. It's driving my anxiety so up. I don't even want a baby shower, honestly. I just want to be left alone. Honestly, OP, I think your therapist is right. Because where she says that he fathers you, he kind of groomed you, and he's been wanting you to do all these weird things, you know? So that one didn't have very much comments, but another one did, because she double posted it from True Off My Chest and from Unventing. So let's see what the True Off My Chest comments are. First comment is, your boyfriend is 18 years old and having a baby with a 15-year-old that he had to teach sex to. Another comment is, I want the police calling his ass. Not good. Honestly makes me sick to my stomach. Another comment was, he taught her how to have sex and didn't teach her that he should have used a condom because they're young and it's a lot of responsibility. He's disgusting and it's horrible vibes, especially with all the shit he's giving her now that she's giving birth. using her naivety to trap her with him. There's nothing wrong with having a partner teach you intimacy. It happens for thousands, if not millions of couples all the time, throughout time. But the fact he's essentially grown, a senior now graduated with a sophomore, and doing it wrong and dangerously, then he damn well knows better. Yeah, I hope she has a better support system soon. His family realizes how disgusting he is and push him to both be better and realize she deserves better. I feel so bad for her. Another comment is, he needs to be locked up. He does. Oh my god. But yeah, a lot of people are saying that, I think your therapist is right. Exactly, OP needs to get it through her head. I don't know how it's been 85 days since this post, and even longer for the whole situation, and how he's still her boyfriend and not ex. Break up with his ass. You're being fucking abused by a fat-phobic, sexist asshole who doesn't give a shit about you or your baby. Stand up. Right? The next post is from the New Parents subreddit. It was posted April 25th, 2025. Am I delusional to believe that I can handle summer school even though I'm due in June? For context, I'm 15 years old and I'm currently 31 weeks pregnant with my son. I'm trying to graduate high school as soon as possible, so I'm in this program that will allow me to graduate early. If I do this summer school, I can potentially be eligible to get my diploma in December. I've never actually did summer school. I always did decent in school, so I have no idea how it's going to work. The program I'm in is like hybrid. Most of the lessons are online, and the only time I would need to go in is for like a test, or if it's like something in the lesson that would require me to go in person. I want to try my best not to need a sitter. I'm planning multitasking most of the time, so like me taking care of him on top of getting schoolwork done. My mom said she would help me, but as of recently, I think she might be starting drinking again, and I don't trust her intoxicated around the baby. My boyfriend, male 18, his family has offered to help me. He's currently away at military boot camp, and so it's hard to make plans because we still don't know where he will be stationed to. Plus, my mom doesn't want his family anywhere near the baby, and since I'm a minor, she has a say over that. So I'm wondering, do I still register for summer school, or do I just cut my losses and figure something else out? My doctor also told me he's currently breached, so it's looking more and more likely that it's going to be a C-section, and I heard the recovery is brutal after a C-section. If he's breached, shouldn't he be delivered already? I'm confused. Relative comments on that one is... I'm a school counselor and mom. I think this depends on a few factors, namely, do you have a support to watch your son when you go in person, and is school something that comes easily for you? If school comes easy and you can coast by with minimal effort, then I'd say go for it, as long as you can get safe and reliable childcare when necessary. If school does not come easily, then I'd potentially wait for the fall when more credit recovery options might be available and the schools are more fully staffed to provide you with additional help. Sorry, edited to add. I'm not sure that it's true your mom has a say over who gets to see your child unless you violated her rules. Could lead to unsafe situations, being cut off from resources. OP responded back to the counselor saying, I'm a sophomore and my mom was supposed to be that person to watch him for those few hours I was going to go in and this summer school, and it was actually initiated by my counselor, and I'm so grateful for her, and I could ask her for other options, but I'm already feeling so needy because she's already bent over backwards for me and has been so helpful. She's been helping me figure out core classes I would need to graduate early. And it's not no make it or break it decision. It doesn't cost anything, so I'm kind of being dramatic, lol. It will just prolong my time in school, and I want to work full time and have stability. She goes, you're not being needy to your counselor at all. That's what they're there for, and if I had a student in your situation, I'd do everything I could to set up for success. Hopefully you get all the credits you need to graduate as soon as possible. Another comment says, do not keep things going with your boyfriend. Your mom's home is at least safe, and he is a toxic, selfish man who should not be around kids even if he was the sperm donor. Consider this too. He should be in jail, and frankly, I'm not sure how he's going to be 18. That's an adult having sex with a 15-year-old who didn't even know what sex is. That's statutory rape. Even if he was 17 at the time, the age difference is too great. OP, he is a bastard. Move on with your life. Single. You must know in your heart that you're not lasting until you're 70 together. See, And a lot of people are, in a lot of these comments, are telling her to run and that it was rape. And that, why can't people listen? That's what I don't understand. Like, a lot of the comments are telling her to run, get out of the situation. He technically raped her. He technically groomed her. This is not an appropriate relationship. And she is not listening. I get that she's 15 and she's lying about his age. All right, next post. Am I overreacting by being annoyed by my boyfriend's Mother's Day post to me? This was posted in the Am I Overreacting subreddit on May 12th, 2025. So yesterday was Mother's Day. For where I'm from, I'm currently pregnant with my little boy. My boyfriend took it upon himself to make a post dedicated to me and didn't ask, but just posted. I have a lot of issues, one being I didn't even announce my pregnancy. The only people that know are people who really see me and know me. Also, my own mom got sent this post and she got pissed and really chewed me out about it. So I'm really mad and bothered because something about it, the story, just feels so degrading. But am I overreacting? Well, let's see what he posted. He posted, Happy Mother's Day to my super hot girlfriend, and tagged her, and soon to be MILF. I'm glad I picked you to be the mother of my child, and I can't wait to give you more. I love you, babe. And then he texted her saying, I still don't understand why you're upset. It was a funny post. And then she said, yeah, sharing to your 31,000 followers that you basically see me as an object that you chose to impregnate is so hilarious. He said, OMG, lighten the fuck up. You're reading way too deep into a story post. You act so miserable these days and get pissed about minor things. And then she responded, it's because I'm fucking miserable. I'm 34 weeks pregnant, I can barely breathe and walk, so yes, I'm freaking annoyed that your Mother's Day post to me is, thank you for being hot and letting me impregnate you, like it was very you-centered post. Why are you gaslighting me on this? Like, most people didn't even know you were the father, and that post has made me a laughingstock, so thanks a lot. And he sent a message and then unsent it, which I love that you can see that. It says, I don't want to fight with you, go take a nap and I'll FaceTime you to better explain myself. He just told her, go take a nap. Bitch, I will stab you. Not me, but relevant comments for this. First comment is, I think you should have included your ages in this post. You're 15, he's 18. That explains a lot. Another person commented, OMG, there's so much wrong with all this. This makes my stomach turn. And then OPM commented, I just wanted plain advice, and I know how people react when they hear our age gap. And then first person said, it's your ages that's the issue, not the 3-year age gap. He's an immature child who made an immature childish social media post. 30-year-olds who possibly wouldn't be hiding their father's identity 34 weeks into pregnancy, your ages matter for many reasons. A lot of people, I don't understand how OPM, whatever we want to call her, doesn't understand that this is wrong. A lot of people are telling her in the comments it's wrong. One of the throwaway account said, you're 15, he's 18, about to have a child together. Given the circumstances you're in, you have a lot more important things to worry about than this. Another person says, someone call the police because he impregnated a child. Another comment says, nope, you're not overreacting. He crossed the boundary and shared your news without asking. That's not cute. That's disrespectful. That post is gross, and his reaction is worse. A lot of people are saying, the bigger issue to me is that the man needs to be in prison. I was just going to say that you're overreacting, and it's because you're pregnant, but you're 15, so the post is just disgusting. Another person says, oh girl, I'm sorry for your situation. I hope your mom reports this guy who preyed on you, and you're able to graduate, and it gets better for your baby. A deleted account commented saying, 50-50. He should have gotten your permission to announce. Also, this post is mostly harmless and kind of his way of saying how attracted he is to you, which is cringy because he's actually 20 and she's 15. That's 5 years, guys. You both suck. Enjoy the man, child, and baby. Another person says, post is tacky, not gonna lie. I wouldn't have been happy about it. It would be better to tell him calmly that you get it was harmless, but to be honest, you felt like it was a little disregarded, and something more heartfelt and less childish would have been better appreciated. But try not to attack him, because I do see the underlying sweetness in the post. He was bragging about you and showing love. It's still gross, but that's just my opinion. What do I know? The next post is from AITAH subreddit. on May 20th, 2025. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my child's father's family? I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant, and for context, this is very much an unplanned pregnancy. Before I got pregnant, I was already living with my mom. It's pretty much just me and her. She's nice enough to allow me to occupy a guest room for the nursery and use two bedrooms in our house. One is the nursery, the other is my room. Me and my mom have had our issues, but I do like being at home in my own room, and I feel comfortable at home. However, the problem comes because my mom has recently started drinking, which is concerning my child's father. My baby is currently breached, so it's looking like I'll be needing a C-section, and the recovery I know can be tough and is obviously recommended to have help while recovering. And with my mom drinking again, she might not be reliable for me when he's not there. He's not allowed to stay over. I've also told him some past trauma about her drinking, but I don't think she's anywhere near that deep end point. I know my mom, and I know she would never intentionally hurt me and the baby. I'm not planning on leaving him alone with her. I'll be home. Also, I still rather be in postpartum at home than at his home. He lives in a DIY studio apartment that his parents made him on top of their garage. There's no good air ventilation in there, and it gets really hot in there in the summer. Plus, like, his entire family practically lives in that house. His parents, his grandparents, his sister, her kid, plus my best friend, his sister, and a couple cousins, so it's a full house already. I feel like it's going to overstimulate me more than help me. Plus, I have suspicions my boyfriend is not truly going to let me recover for 6 weeks. I told him all of this, and he got so mad at me and told me I already refused his family's help, and that I'm choosing to recover alone is because I'm being controlling over my son, which isn't true. I still plan on them seeing the baby all the time. Everyone I've talked to told me I should listen to him and recover at theirs, but I want to create routine for my baby, and I feel like he would get that better at mine. So, am I the a-hole? No. Put your foot down. She deleted this post from AITA, and then posted it in 2 hot takes as well, and got 41 comments. Let's see what those comments were. She deleted it from 2 hot takes as well. But the first comment was, he's your boyfriend, not your husband, and the thought that he's been pissy if you deny him sex is giant waving red flag. A man who gets pissy about not having access to your body for sex after a cesarean is not a good guy. If you're only 15, let your mom help you resist the pressure about moving in with your boyfriend. She can simply say, no, you're not moving. This is one thing moms are good for, telling other people you're not allowed to do things. You've made the smart decision. I'm supposing you fell in love with your BF, but that's not a reason to live with him, especially if he's pushy about using your body for sex. That's what it means for him to be pissy. He's not concerned about your age, your health, or your comfort. He wants his pleasure. That's a bad sign in a relationship with a boy or man. If your mom is working, maybe BF's family can come over to help you out. Figure out what your mom is comfortable with in terms of having people over, maybe one person at a time for a few hours. I agree with her. BF should not be sleeping over at your age. And the other grandparents can't just walk into your home and take over, so be mindful of people who bulldoze your boundaries. Other people your age have had babies. You'll be fine if you listen to that voice inside you that says you're better off with your moms. You can get help raising the baby and set good boundaries around that, but you as a person would get lost in that house full of people who have their own interest in the baby, not you. Let your mom take the lead here. Tell her you're worried about the drinking, and tell her you need her to be sober to help you raise the kid and get the position to support yourself. You have a lot of growing to do yourself, and that won't happen if you are just baby's mom in someone else's house. Meanwhile, once you and your mom are on the same page about getting help from BF's family after the baby's born, talk to them about what you need and what the boundaries are. BF should be paying child support to help with diapers and such. Do not move in with him until you finish school, and unless he's willing to get married and can pay for an apartment and the baby's needs. My guess is that won't be anytime soon. The next step is finishing school and getting your diploma and making plans for a job or career. Get on very secure birth control. Don't have another baby until you finish school, have gotten married, and this baby is in kindergarten. At that point, you'll be 21 and in a position to make solid decision. pretty much, you know? I want to know where it was saying that he was asking for sex. So hold on. I get it. Okay. Because it says, plus I have my suspicions he won't let me truly rest or recover for 6 weeks. And I know he will be getting so pissy at me if I denied him. That wasn't in the other one. So she added that into the Two Hot Takes one. The next one is from the Making My Choice subreddit, posted May 28th, 2025. Should I stay with my boyfriend and his family once I give birth, or stay at home with my mom that relapsed? Which is the same thing, just posted a couple days later in Making My Choice. But this one says, she also added the sentence of, I also have my suspicions my boyfriend is not truly going to let me recover for 6 weeks, and I know he will get so pissy with me for denying him since he's so used to me constantly giving in and giving him my attention, which is just disgusting. So the next post is from May 31st, 2025, from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. Am I overreacting by thinking my boyfriend is being fat phobic to his sister? Today we decided to go to this dairy farm, and it was like this giant scale there, I guess to weigh cows, and we decided to play around and get on the scale. So we all took turns on it, and when my best friend, BF's sister, she got on the scale and weighed more than me. I weigh 116 pounds and she weighs 176. And my boyfriend made a joke out of how she weighed more than me when I'm currently pregnant. I don't remember exactly what he said, but other people were around and heard him, and she literally went and sat in the car the entire time and cried about how she's sick of being the butt of the joke. I tried to explain to her that she shouldn't feel bad and that she isn't fat and we're literally different heights. I'm 5 foot and she's 5'5", and that he's being a dick for attention. She then says he never commented on her weight until they started dating because I'm skinny. So I feel awful that I need to fix this because the deep reason of why I'm skinny is because I was struggling with an eating disorder before I got pregnant that no one knew about. So, am I overreacting? Alright, and then there's text. So, OP commented to her boyfriend, or texted her boyfriend, you need to apologize. That was really rude what you said to her. Her boyfriend said, it was a JOKE. She's just being sensitive for no reason. OP said, if she told you multiple times to stop referencing her weight, why continue to do it? He said, she can't be mad. She literally walked into that one. OP said, she didn't walk into anything. You were just being an asshole. He responded, I was pointing out an observation that she weighs more than you currently, even though you're 9 months pregnant. OP said, regardless, saying that shit out loud is embarrassing and mean. So I'm asking, please apologize to her and stop commenting about it. You wouldn't like it if I poke fun at you for being 204 pounds. Or God forbid, our son struggles with being overweight. And then he commented back saying, for starters, I'm 6'4", and that's a healthy BMI. And secondly, I won't allow my son to get fat, and I'm not apologizing because she's sad about it. That just means she needs to lose weight. No, it means you're rude and harsh. And I want to punch him so bad. Relative comments. If he can't be kind to his own sister, how would he treat your child if the child doesn't look exactly how your BF wants them to? I would be nervous about this and as well, and try to find a way to get through to him, or see if he will get counseling with you to get to the root of his own issues. He certainly has some issues that he is struggling with internally. If he's willing to bully his own family and make basic threats towards an unborn child, I say threats because what is he going to do if the baby is pudgy, as most are, or child is heavyset? It's not healthy to say things to children, to put them in excessive workout programs, or restrict their eating to where they may develop an ED2. How is he going to control that? Not overreacting. And a lot of people are going through the comments and reminding them that OP and BF are 15 and 18 because they still don't know that he is 20. Next post was in the AITAH subreddit, posted June 22nd, 2025. Am I the asshole for treating my boyfriend too harshly during the birth of our son? Yesterday afternoon, me and my boyfriend welcomed my son. However, my boyfriend is still upset about how I treated him when I was in active labor. This is my first baby, and honestly, the contractions was probably the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. My heart rate never has been so high, and I was sobbing and screaming because just how bad the contractions were. At that point, I was having contractions like that for the past 12 hours prior to going to the hospital, but it started to become back to back when I was in the hospital, and I was like only 3 centimeters dilated. My boyfriend, he was trying to be helpful. To his credit, he was holding my hand and rubbing my head, but about 3 hours in, it started to overstimulate me, and I just didn't want to be rubbed anymore. I wouldn't want to be rubbed at all. Don't touch me unless I tell you to. Hold my hand. Do anything, just don't rub me. So I started to hit his hand away from me, but the breaking point for me was when every time I was feeling a contraction, he started saying stuff like, "When you feel those, just push him out," or, "I think if you followed my advice, he would have been out by now." Just condescending remarks that I didn't want to hear. So I told him to shut the fuck up, and that what he was recommending is stupid because I'm not even dilated enough to push. He then proceeds to argue with me, and I start crying just out of frustration. So I told him that I wanted him out for 30 minutes and to swap with my granny, because I knew she would truly be what I needed. And he stormed out of the room and didn't return until they said I needed a C-section and allowed him to be the person to scrub in. Our son was born yesterday, but he's still giving me the cold shoulder for that disagreement, which is really messing with me emotionally because I need his support. I'm scared for our son. My baby was born underweight, 5 pounds, 5 ounces, and we found out he developed jaundice. I also have preeclampsia, and I feel so weak, so I feel like I can't properly take care of him like I want to. He's only talking to me if there's something to do with the baby, but other than that, nothing. Did I seriously fuck up here? Am I the asshole? No, you are not. Congratulations on the birth. She also posted it in the Too Hot Takes subreddit. So the one that she posted in Am I the A-hole got 23 comments, or 22 comments, sorry. Relevant comments. Never had the pleasure of having a kid myself, but from what I understand, you acted like 99% of women in active labor. Have him talk to a few nurses, and he should see there's nothing personal. NTA. Another comment is, "Your fella's an asshole. Please show him this. Please tell him repeatedly. He is absolutely 100% the asshole. Childbirth is not like on the TVs, and he hasn't a fucking clue. From now on, if he's ever sick or in pain, just give him heaps of advice and see how it goes. If he ever has a sore tooth, tell him to just brush his teeth, babe. I feel if you would brush your teeth, you would be fine by now. Constantly, every single time, forever." Another person commented saying, "Ask him how he'd like being punched in the gut by a black belt for hours and hours while someone told him to shut up or to suck it up, buttercup. Good men have empathy and are able to understand the pain another person is going through. He didn't belong in a labor and delivery. My husband fainted." Another comment from this subreddit was, "NTA, first of all, what the fuck? I apologize in advance because this genuinely is upsetting. He is acting like a petulant man-child just because while you were doing all the physical, emotional, and mental work of giving birth, you didn't have the capacity to care for his feelings. And he is giving you the cold shoulder after you went through the process of giving birth, after he, a man, had no ovaries, no experience at all, tried to mansplain you the act of bringing a human to life. And he is doing all this while you were worried because your baby is underweight and you have preeclampsia? Girl, if you don't put that man in the trash where he belongs, ditch him. He isn't even your husband, and good that he isn't your husband. How can he act this way after you give birth? I truly do not understand how he can be such an imbecile. Break up with him ASAP. It won't get better if he's doing all this during such an important moment. Wish you the best. For you and the baby, though, I hope you are well and recovering soon." Yeah, a lot of people are telling her to get rid of him. And then the comments in the Too Hot Take subreddit, because it's the exact same wording. She just got more people because the Too Hot Take subreddit is relatively more active. This is how he acts when you're in labor. What's he usually like? He must be absolutely insufferable. What a complete ass, NTA. This reminds me of my second day after labor. My now convicted ex-husband gave me cold shoulder because I forgot to pay the electric bill. This gave me the same vibes. My labor nurse would have told my husband to shut the fuck up if he said that to me. I was wondering why the ones in the room with OP didn't. Actually, I was wondering why the doctor didn't say that. I'm surprised no one backhanded him across the face. Literally, my labor nurses would have gone to war for me. But yeah, everybody keeps telling OP that he's trash. Next post is, am I overreacting or is my boyfriend jealous of our baby? Was posted July 1st, 2025. It was posted in Am I Overreacting subreddit. I recently just had my son about a little over a week ago, and his father has not been adjusting well, in my opinion. He really wants me to take a more hands-off approach with our son, and he doesn't like that I'm holding him a lot, and that every time he makes somewhat of a noise, I rush to pick him up, just small things like that. At first, I thought he was looking out for me because I had a C-section and I shouldn't be doing a lot, but I no longer think that's the reason why he gets upset. For example, our latest big disagreement is that he hates that I breastfeed him, and I don't know why. His reasoning is because he thinks that would make our baby clingy to only me. No, if you can breastfeed, it's best for the baby to breastfeed. Sometimes you don't produce enough milk and they won't latch, and you have to bottle feed, but breastfeeding is widely recommended. I really don't think he hates our son. I think he's having a hard time not knowing how to bond with him, and that he's jealous that my son knows how to cry for me is how he kind of explains it. I allow him access to my bedroom security cameras and nursery cameras to maybe make him feel like he's not missing out on anything, and he's still there, but still, I do think he's jealous of our baby, and I'm wondering if I'm delusional, and it's not typical baby blues on his end. He texted her saying, every time I look at the camera, you're holding him. She says, yeah, he's so cute I can't help it. He just lets me. I'm still in shock that he's actually here and alive. Boyfriend replies back with, my only issue is when he becomes that age when he's supposed to be self-soothing, he's not going to be able to. She replies back with, he's only been on this floating rock for a week. He can be spoiled with cuddles. We don't need to worry about him self-soothing until he's more closer to a year. OP's boyfriend comments saying, a year? Nah, we're starting that at 6 weeks, lol, question mark. And she comments saying, are you insane? That's way too soon. Wait, what's your version of self-soothing? He replies back saying, we allow him to sleep in his room at night. She replies back with, why would he need to start sleeping in his room at 6 weeks? I sleep a lot better when he's in the bassinet in the room. I don't think I want to transition him into his room until he's more like 6 months. He responds back with, honestly, at this point, I feel like you want him to be a mama's boy. Like you want him to be clingy to you, and I'm giving you tips to prevent that. If you cared about our relationship, you would have him sleep in his room. She responded with, no, what's actually happening is you're jealous of your son, which is insane, by the way. You genuinely get upset every time I have to do something for him. I'm not mad at you for feeling this way, and a lot of men have felt similar to you, and this can be worked through. I love you both so much, and you're both my priority. It's just as of right now, baby requires more of my energy this time. I will still make time for you. It's just the adjustment period of getting used to him and getting routine going. Boyfriend responds back with, I'm not jealous. I'm just tired of you doing things with him without confiding in me like I'm an absent father with no say when I'm not at all. I'm still honestly pissed that you're breastfeeding him when we agreed not to. I mean, OP, I'm saying this for like the upteenth time today. Drop his ass. It is recommended for mothers to breastfeed their babies. If they can't, yes, you can give them formula, but it's recommended. Yes, okay. So it is recommended by the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics to breastfeed for the first 6 months and then continue breastfeeding alongside complementary foods for at least a year, or even up to 2 years or longer if the mother or baby desires. And it's basically a health thing for the baby. Health protection. Breast milk contains antibiotics that protect against inflammation, and breastfed babies have lower rates of ear infection, diarrhea, respiratory illness, and SIDS. SIDS for those who don't know, is sudden infant death syndrome. I have a brother who died from that before I even met him because I wasn't even alive. But yeah, long-term health benefits of breastfeeding can reduce the risk of developing asthma, obesity, and certain types of diabetes later in life. I probably was not breastfed because I have asthma. No, I'm joking. I've had asthma for years. Optional nutrition. Breast milk provides the ideal nutrition, and it composites changes to meet the baby's needs as they grow, and it helps mother bond with baby. But yeah. Relevant comments are, I'm just going to read this one comment because it is long. I am currently a DV prosecutor. I spent 5 years in family law, divorce, custody, protection orders, etc. I grew up in an abusive, highly controlling home, and I'm still recovering from a 5-year relationship with a nice narcissist that ended 2 years ago. Girl, every alarm bell in my system is going off. Every one. Blaring sirens, flashing red lights, buzzers. This man will, if he hasn't already, start trying to control and manipulate you in every area of your life. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he becomes physically abusive. What is screaming at me right now is the language he used that is trying to gaslight you, give you tips. This man knows nothing about newborns. He is positioning himself as more knowledgeable and above you. This is to put you in your place and make it so you can't leave him because you're too incompetent and need him to take care of you. Don't confide in me. He plays this off as if you're disrespecting him when you're not. He's gaslighting and manipulating you. He's turning himself into the victim. We agreed you wouldn't breastfeed. I would bet anything you wanted to breastfeed, and he bullied, belittled, pressured, and guilted you into agreeing not to. His language is frighteningly aggressive over a topic such as breastfeeding. But the biggest red flag of all, if you cared about this relationship, this is number 1 on the narcissist's top 10. This man will take you on a years-long narcissistic roller coaster that at best traumatizes you and your son, and at worst leaves your child without a mother. If you're not ready to leave yet, that's okay. But please start paying attention to the patterns in his words and actions. When you have a fight, do you always end up giving in or apologizing even though you don't do anything wrong? Does he get mad at you for being mad at him for something he did that was unquestionably wrong? I'm already getting 2 yeses from these posts, so 2 yeses. Does he say you asked him to stop an offensive behavior, ruined his day, or why can't you just let it go? Yes. How did you feel after the fights? Confused? Like your head is spinning? Like he's Jekyll and Hyde? And lastly, get this book now. Just make a note in the margin whenever you feel something applies to your situation. Keep a secret record of fights, controlling or demanding behavior, verbal threats to you or friends and family, and physical abuse. Take screenshots of these text conversations. You will need these documentations if you end up in court over custody, which in my opinion is a strong likelihood. I'm sorry if this bursts your bubble of a happy little family, but it's more important that you are informed than if you ever leave. And the book is titled, It's Not You. Identifying and Healing from Narcissistic People. Another one is, I'll read 2 more. Another one is, OP, I hope you see this. If I remember correctly, I had an appointment with my OB 2 weeks after my C-section. There are pediatric appointments too. Those appointments are your opportunity to get help. Even if your boyfriend accompanies you to these appointments, doctor's offices have ways of dealing with that. When I was pregnant and would go to the bathroom to give a urine sample, a poster on the bathroom said, if you are in an unsafe situation at home, use the paper and pen provided to write us a note, then leave the note in the cabinet with your urine sample. That was a way that a woman could discreetly signal for help, since going to pee might be the only privacy she really has. Please be safe, OP. What your boyfriend is doing to you and your baby is not normal or okay. And I see it in the OR all the time. Not all the time, I have issues. I am accident prone. So every time I'm in the OR or in a doctor's office and I go to the bathroom, or I'm going to the bathroom because I'm at the OR for my dad or my mom, I see on their door, they say, because you got to get, some of them do urine samples, or they don't have a urine sample, they say, if you're in an unsafe situation, take this dot and give it to us. Or place it somewhere on the urine sample somewhere, and they will know because it's a blue dot and they will easily know what it is. It's about yay big, so it's very noticeable, but I agree with this person very much. Next relevant comment is this dude insane? First off, how are you going to be mad that the mother of your child is breastfeeding, which is a natural thing? Second, 6 weeks and move to their own room? Like, I'm all for self-soothing, and I sleep-trained my kids, but not until they were 6 months to a year. And I knew the middle-of-the-night feedings were no longer a necessity. He should brush up on parenting books or two, because for real, the jealousy shines brighter than the sun right now. Somebody replied to that saying, he doesn't care about parenting, he doesn't care about her or this kid, he cares about sex and that's it. He wants 6 weeks because that's about when they say you can get back to it. He doesn't want her breastfeeding because he wants her breasts to stay the same sexual objects. This guy is total trash and a shit father. Next post is from Mommet subreddit, and it's from July 23rd, 2025. Having a hard time with the idea of leaving my newborn with his father. So, I'm going to be completely transparent. I usually try to hide it because of just the harsh judgment, but for this post, it kind of matters. But I'm 15, and I recently had my son. He's 3 weeks, and my boyfriend is 18. With that being said, I haven't obviously graduated high school yet, but I'm currently in a program that allows me to do the core classes so I can graduate early. And this Friday, I have 3 big tests that will kind of determine if I pass the semester or not, and be on track to graduate by hopefully the winter. With that being said, I'll probably be there for close to 5 hours, and I'm debating, do I bring my baby or not? I only brought him out of the house once since bringing him home, and that was for a doctor's checkup, and even then it was a lot of work. He wasn't bad specifically. He's really actually a patient baby, but me, I was struggling, lugging the stuff around and sticking to his routine. So with all that said, I feel like I may have to leave him at home, and I'm having a hard time wanting to do that. My child's father wants to watch him while I'm away, but I do worry about him when it comes to him being patient with the baby, and him not being very patient understanding what the baby needs in the moments when he cries like I do. My son is also breastfed, and is still very sometimey when it comes to drinking from the bottle. And with my grandparents who have been staying at the house and helping me transition, they have been so helpful, and I kind of want to give them a break. But also when my son needs to be put down for a nap, he might make you get up and walk with him, and my granny has a bad hip, and my granddad is tied to a wheelchair. So when it comes to them, I'm worried about the physical limitations they have and not make them do too much. So I guess my question is, how do you let go of the jitters of allowing someone to watch your baby? Or do I just bring him with me? I'm really not confident that I'm going to pass these tests, so if I end up failing, the cherry on top would be coming home to a cranky baby. Seems like you're already single parenting already. The relevant comment is, do not leave this baby alone with this man. He is abusive to you and openly jealous and resentful to your baby. I'm not trying to scare you, but fathers do sometimes hurt or kill their own children. And from your post history, this guy doesn't sound like he's incapable of that. I also hope you consider leaving him for the emotional and physical safety of you and your child. Based on your post history and your gut not being 100% sure you can trust him, I'd leave the baby with your grandparents instead of your BF. If you're not able to postpone the test, which I would highly recommend doing, if you're concerned you won't pass anyways, you're 3 weeks postpartum and can typically get out of school for 6 weeks at least. Also, I know this is unsolicited advice, but reading your post history, my heart hurts for you and your little boy, and I feel compelled to give you an unsolicited advice here. I was a FTM at 15 too, as well as a child of an alcoholic. My children's father, we had a second baby together when I was 18, exhibited a lot of red flags that your boyfriend has. My child's father eventually became an addict and became abusive. I didn't think my parent that was an alcoholic would ever intentionally hurt my child, or when I was your age. I found out last year, I'm 29 now, that he got a DUI with a severe BAC 20 minutes after dropping me off at my boyfriend's house when I was 8 months pregnant. Trust the red flags and protect yourself and your son. Finish school and do whatever you can to make sure you can support yourself and your child, So you don't have to rely on anyone, especially your boyfriend. You do not want to have the regrets of staying in a toxic situation and you and or your child having lasting trauma because of it. Yeah, a lot of people are just like, looking at your post history, don't leave your child with this man. This man child. Do not do it, OP. The next post is from True Off My Chest, posted on July 27th, so 4 days after the last post. My mom and her therapist told me I'm the reason for her addiction. My mom is currently in rehab for the second time for her addiction to alcohol. Since she's been in, I, 15 female, had my baby without her, and my grandparents have been taking care of me as well as my boyfriend's family too. That's why her friend says she was living with her grandma. Okay. Me and my mom's relationship hasn't really been close. I would say, sadly, my mom is very, traditional. So, when it comes to conversations about sex and relationships, it's so black and white and dismissive. So I just chose not to talk to her about it to avoid her getting mad at me or becoming more strict on me. But this last Friday, we had a family therapy session, and honestly, I just feel like I was practically blamed for my mom not being able to stay sober. They didn't flat out say that it was my fault, but a lot of the discussion felt like I was being blamed, and I honestly been depressed since then. The counselor brought up a situation from a couple years back that I didn't like to talk about, but my mom dated someone briefly after my dad passed, and the guy was someone that we knew for a while and went to our church. But he did stuff to me I can't quite remember every single thing, but it was like sexual abuse. I didn't even think what he was doing was wrong because of the way he presented it as that how we were supposed to bond because we weren't related. So I never told anyone. It sounds so stupid now that I believed him, but it made sense to me. Plus, he would buy me whatever I wanted after he did that stuff, so I didn't think it was wrong. However, my brother walked in on him doing that stuff, and he asked me later about it, and I told him exactly what he was doing, because again, I didn't think it was wrong. He instantly told my mom, and she confronted him, and he admitted it, and she went to the police. I think he got a couple charges, but I know he's out now. The people in my town heard about it and the details about how long it went on, and that my brother was the one that said something. They took it as my mom knew about it because apparently the outsiders knew something was off. Honestly, she really didn't know, but her reputation did suffer and she lost a few friends. But she was so sad that I didn't tell her, and that it kind of kicked off her drinking in the first time, according to the counselor. Then me becoming a teen mom is what made her relapse recently, apparently, which I didn't accept that blame because I quite literally followed her advice with everything regarding this pregnancy. She told me she didn't want me to have an abortion or give up the baby for adoption, and she would help me raise him, and I listened to her on that, just for her to relapse 7 weeks before I had my son. But apparently, it's not pregnancy itself, but I guess she hates the way I hid my relationship with my boyfriend, and was sneaking around with him. Which was the only reason why I hid the relationship is because I wasn't allowed to date until I was 18, and every time I even mentioned a guy, she would get mad. Not to mention your boyfriend is 20, OP. I'm so upset because why am I being blamed for her drinking? I don't blame her for me getting pregnant, even though I could because she never talked to me about sex and only briefly told me about it when I got my period. Then told me she would tell me the rest once it was the night before my wedding. Okay. I mean, I get it. So my first time was obviously traumatic. I had no idea what to do and just froze, and it just felt like pain, and had to ask ChatGPT on clarity if I had sex or not. I would have loved more than anything to go to my mom about it, but I knew I couldn't because her response would have been extreme. I love my mom and do want some relationship with her. I miss how she was with me when I was doing beauty pageants and how I felt actually loved by her. Right now, it just feels like I can't win even when I do listen to her. But as of now, I'm looking into my options of just going to live with my child's father's family or my grandparents since I trigger her so much. Or sorry in advance for the errors. I typed this so fast. Relative comments are, please go live with your grandparents and not the boyfriend. Oh honey, your mom has failed you in so many ways, and now her therapist is failing her and you. It's not your fault her boyfriend abused you, and it's not your fault she chose to cope with that by drinking. She should have had both of you in therapy after that happened. It's not uncommon for victims of childhood SA to become sexually active as a way to regain control. I'm sorry you are now having to learn how to be a mother when you should be mothering. You still need mothering yourself. It'd be very hard for you to break a cycle, but it's possible. It sounds like you do have some supportive adults in your life. Can you ask them to help you find a therapist? It would be very helpful to have someone to help you work through all your feelings about your SA, your mother's neglect, and learning how to be a young mother. This internet auntie is rooting for you. Next comment is your mother's therapist religious? If so, you can take everything she says and throw it in the garbage. Surround yourself with loving and supportive people. Your mom can't support you while her head is still firmly stuck up her own ass. You need better grown-ups around to lean on. Very good point. I didn't consider the therapist was religious, but sounds like you could be onto something for sure. I hope she sees your comment. She can take everything the therapist is saying and throw it in the garbage regardless. Another comment is, you were absolutely not the reason your mother's addiction. I'm so sorry that you were sexually abused. You were a child, and you're still just a kid trying to navigate motherhood. Don't go back to the fuck-ass therapist or let anyone make you believe your mother's struggles are your own fault. Yeah. It's not your fault, OP. But that was deleted off the True Off My Chest subreddit. But she also posted it twice, so once it got deleted, she reposted it. Next one is from the Two Hot Takes subreddit on October 8th, 2025. I feel like I'm being forced to continue the relationship with my child's father. Me, 15 female, and my child's father have been on and off since I had my son a month ago. And with us being on and off, so is his financial support, because when we're off, he's not giving. But when we're on, he's willing to give me anything with no questions. Well, that's not right. I hate this arrangement because it does give him power over me. Just this past weekend, I had to be really flirty and damn near seduce him just to get $200 from him to get our son's prescription. Our son, I had to take him to the ER twice because he's sick with RSV. The medication treatments co-pays are expensive, and I have to be driven 2 hours away from our middle of nowhere town to get him a proper specialist to treat him. My grandparents and mom have been helping with majority of the expenses. My entire college fund is quite literally gone because it went to labor and delivery hospital bill, and the little money that is left over is going to my driver's ed courses and parenting classes, so I have roughly $400 left. With that all being said, I still feel like he should chip in more. I have the baby full-time currently. He comes by and sees the baby like 3 times a week and for like 2.5 hours per visit. What makes me scared to go for child support is he has threatened 50-50 custody if I decided to file. I know it sounds like control freak, but I would much rather just lose out on child support. I don't think he would properly care for him and wouldn't do the small things like tummy time, read to him, or like having a schedule with him. A part of me wants to think he's bluffing because I don't think he actually wants the responsibility of caring for him by himself. I see him most likely pawning our baby off to his parents to do the majority of his labor. I feel so stuck on what to even do. I'm starting to think, do I just marry my child's father and just suck it up for the time being? Since financially it's the better option. My child's father is in the military. He qualifies for on-base single-family housing. And if he's my spouse, I can get financial aid grants to go to college. I don't even know what's even the point of this post, mostly just ranting. I honestly might delete because this is so embarrassing to post this. I feel awful for bringing my son into this mess. He doesn't deserve it at all, and I cry every time I think about it. He's such a calm baby, ironically, given the chaos my life is, and caring for him is not really the root of my stress. It's just our futures worry me. Disclaimer, I'm not asking for money, I'm just ranting about financial stress. She did delete it, by the way. Relevant comments are, see if you can get a consultation with legal counseling to find out what percentage custody would be granted to him at this time, and if you'd be eligible for child support. At least you know for sure what the options are. Maybe they'll work out in your favor better than you think. If he's 18, this is statutory rape. Somebody else comments, so this story is a little sketchy. How old is the dad? If he's also 15, he's not mature enough to be a father. He's kind of making choices a teenager would make because 15 is too young for kids. If he's older than 18, that's a legal issue in multiple ways. And then they commented again, you made multiple posts about this BF. He deserves to be in jail. You and your parents should be pressing statutory rape charges. Somebody else, I second what in the hell. I feel like this girl because all the posts about him are insane. I'm not sure why her parents haven't reported him to the police yet, and we learned that they have. But, friends in low places, I guess. Next post is from Drew Off My Chest, posted August 18th, 2025. I can't believe I saw him today. TLDR at the bottom because I'm sorry, this is long, but I need to get this all off because I'm spiraling mentally. Out of all the days this had to happen when I'm going through such a very bad depression because, well, I also just had a baby 7 weeks and postpartum has just been hard and I'm not going to go into it, but I just feel so beat down by everyone and I'm also 15 years old, so there's that. So I'm a hot mess and I know that, but back to why I'm freaking out. Today I tried to have a good day to attempt to pull myself out of a funk, so I did my makeup, I straightened my hair and I managed to fit into an outfit that I got in pre-pregnancy, so my confidence was on 10. And what I just ended up doing was walking me and my baby down to the library. I have a lot of anxiety taking him out. My town is quite small and conservative, so stairs hit like daggers. Plus, my baby, he's white and I'm very obviously not. I'm half black and I look very visibly black. So there's those types of stairs. But when I get into the library, everyone's so nice and it looks... and it's nice to feel like an actual person. It was obviously short-lived. As I was walking down, pushing the stroller down the aisles, an individual gets by me, and at first I didn't recognize them, and then he says my name, and I look up, and it's my mom's ex. And it's my mom's ex-boyfriend, and the history with him, I didn't like to even say it, honestly, because it just feels so wrong to even type, but all I can say is he tricked me into doing a lot of things with him, and he went to jail, but not for long, obviously. I knew he was out, just not back in town. But when I looked up at him, he was smiling at me like I was his long-lost friend or something. And I'm so mad at myself I didn't know what to do, but said hi back. He starts to try and hold a conversation with me, and beyond the initial hi, I said I didn't say anything, but just looked at him in shock. He almost rambled on how I looked the same and stuff. I honestly tuned everything out, hoping he would just take my silence as a sign to just walk away. But then he mentions my son. He said, "Oh, I heard you were expecting a little one. Is this he or she?" At that point, I just pushed the stroller and ran away. It probably looked weird and rude from an outside point of view, but I didn't want to cause a scene in a quiet area. I would have ran away too. I'm not a confrontational person. I literally just locked myself in the family restroom in the library and sobbed on the floor, and I actually vomited, which was something new. I never had that reaction. But I was sitting there shaking and crying. I was so frustrated that I couldn't regulate my body to calm down. It was like that for 20 minutes. I was even looking for videos on YouTube to help me calm down, and nothing was working. Then my baby woke up, and I had to feed him, and that did calm me down. It made me realize I wasn't really alone. He slowly blinked at me while he stares at me. Crashing out always makes me laugh. I ended up calling my child's father to come get me because I didn't feel safe walking home with my baby alone. He does pick me up. He knows about everything with that individual, so he doesn't ask any questions about it and just took me home. He stayed at my house for a whole day, basically just allowing me to bed rot, and he took care of the baby without asking me for anything and was just really thoughtful and got me flowers and food. I felt like back in love with him in those moments, but I did something I fully regret now. When he put the baby to bed, we went all the way. We're not together for a good reason. He has a temper that's scary at times, that I just cry when he gets mad at and yells at me, and he's very controlling when it comes to pretty much anything I do and our baby. But now he's thinking we're back together because we did it, but I was just really sad and wanted to feel love for a moment. He also didn't even use protection, and I have to get a plan B on top of that. I know I might need therapy, and I have nothing against therapy, but I just don't want to talk about that situation. I barely remember it, so if I'm forced to sit down and truly jog my memory, I feel so nauseous and my chest just feels like I can't breathe. It quite literally feels like I'm dying, and I hate getting that feeling so much. But I also do want to learn to cope sooner than later. I don't want my son to witness me like that because it's scary. TLDR, I'm struggling with postpartum and I went to the library and ran into my mom's ex-boyfriend that did harm to me that I didn't like thinking or talking about. I had a nervous breakdown in the library bathroom on the floor, and my ex that is my child's dad picked me up, or he stayed over all day helping. We ended up doing the deed and now he thinks we're back together, but I don't want to get back with him because of his intense anger issues when it comes to me and how controlling he is to me and our baby. I don't think he's changed, and I'm trying to find out how to cope without going to therapy. Oh, that was a mouthful in and of itself. Hi, editing Paula here. Don't I just look atrocious? No. I kind of realized while doing the editing that I did not really give my feedback for most of this, but since I've whittled down the edit to where it's not 3 hours long, yeah, it got, whew. I have a lot of stuttering in there that I had to edit out, first and foremost, but yeah, I fixed it, I believe. As we just saw, my pregnant cat, I think, wants to leave, or she's going to her food. It's whatever. I feel like this girl is trying so hard to get help in this first half, and as you can tell, she's posting to not only True Off My Chest or pregnancy ones, but she's also posting to Two Hot Takes and Am I the A-Hole and other very large subreddits, because I feel like she's trying to not only get her story out there, but like she wants to get the advice, but she doesn't know how to like deal with it and cope with it. And she is trying. I believe she was trying. And the post that we just ended on, I hated how she's just like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. I'm going to the bathroom and I'm going to have my panic attack in there. And it's one of those, I've never had a panic attack, or at least I don't think I have. And I know people are going to say, if you've had a panic attack, you know what a panic attack feels like. But I have a tendency to block everything out. So I knew, kind of still know. So I grew up in the church, kind of like this OP did. I didn't have the same experience as she did. Didn't get pregnant at a young age. I am not a single mother and issues, but this girl, Megan, in this book, I grew up with her. She was my little sister's best friend. We went to church school together, we went to church camp together. We did everything. We did a lot together. I even went into her house, and she had the same thing happen to her that this OP had happened to her. But instead of a stepfather doing it, or not stepfather, instead of a mom's boyfriend doing it to her, it was her actual father. And reading that experience and seeing that, and I'm just like, oh. Now, I don't understand how OP's mom's ex got away with what he was doing with so little time of going to jail, because the girl I know, her dad is still in jail. Granted, her dad not only raped her, but he was selling her to other men, but that's a different thing in and of itself. I have a plan for that. Anywho, but yeah, I feel like OP was trying to get her words out, that she was communicating, she was willingly taking advice. Granted, she was not listening to everybody who was constantly verbatim telling her to dump him, get this guy out of your life. But I also know that grooming can do that to you, because, he started grooming her when she was trying to get away from what she was getting in her life with her mom's ex-boyfriend, who was also essaying her. And I'm pretty sure she didn't get penetration essay, because she said that her first time with her ex-boyfriend slash baby daddy was traumatizing and rough and scary, that she needed a squishmallow, which should never be rough like that. He should have known better. When I read that, I wanted to punch him, but in a later post in the next episode, she states that she was traumatized, it was rough, and it was terrifying, and it involved blood. And I was like, okay, so she was not penetrated when mom's ex-boyfriend was doing stuff to her. He was probably just touching her and feeling her and doing all this other stuff with her. That was very inappropriate. Now, as I said, I am not a very in touch with all this, but this is just how I feel. Like, I understand why she wouldn't listen to everybody saying, oh my god, OP, get rid of him, stop trusting him. Like, even her best friend from episode 2 was telling her, get rid of this guy. I don't even trust my brother. And throughout the whole time I'm reading it, and she's giving us a fake age, and I know he's actually 20 or 19 going on 20 and then 20 at the very end. I'm just like, oh my god, OP. And this is just from December to June, from like mid-pregnancy to end of the pregnancy. Like, she's a couple months, the baby's like, what, 2 months now? So maybe it's like July, August. So she's like in the summertime. And we still got more to go. And I know she posted another post that I'm going to have to put into the next episode's edit, which is going to really make me mad. Trust. But it's like, I honestly feel like she posted in these huge subreddits because she wanted the feedback. She needed to see what everybody was talking about, telling her, seeing it from other people's perspectives, because she did finally get out. She's kind of back in the situation, but with another guy. And I don't think she understands that her body is used to, in her mind, is used to somebody grooming her and taking advantage of her, because not only did it happen as a child, but it still happened when she was a teenager. So it just escalated up and up, and now she's a single mom, and basically she's been a single mom since she was pregnant, because she's not only was she taking care of herself with the baby inside of her, she was taking care of her boyfriend, who was technically a deadbeat anyways, and who was kind of who was maybe not physically abusing her. I mean, physically abusing her, because technically he was raping her, but he was doing the mental and emotional abuse as well, because he would gaslight her and go, I don't do this, it's all you, and he'd turn situations and make himself the victim in the text messages. And reading these and then going back and editing it and listening to it, I wanted to punch the guy again and again and again, and I wanted to just like take her and from whatever state she's in and move her to a different state and be like, listen, stay here with your baby, just never talk to a male that is over the age of, I don't know, 16, be a year older, and as soon as you turn 18, that's when you can start talking to older fucking guys, for all I fucking care. Stop. And I'm not even her mother. Like, I will go protective older sister mode. And I only have one person under me, and that's my little sister, and she is a mother, but she's not a single mother. She has the Cambodian side of the family helping her, and I say Cambodian side because her baby daddy slash boyfriend slash, because they're in Michigan, they are common law married now because they've been together so long, and they're in Michigan. So technically her husband. They've been together so long that if he was abusing her and all that, I would probably pull her away and do the same thing because I absolutely love my sister. I may not show it at times. I may not show my emotions for my family that much to my family because I am an introverted, awkward person, and people who know me and they are listening, trust, I quite literally went up to a bunch of them and be like, here you go, and I typed in the podcast into their phones and be like, listen, and so they listen. So hello everybody who listens that I know. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and on and on and on and on and on. But it's one of those, I seriously want this girl to go into therapy, get help. She's already tried because, from episode 2, from her best friend's post, that she already tried to commit suicide. I almost said self-murder again. Oh my god, I don't know what's wrong with me. Every time I start saying she tried to commit suicide to a lot of people recently, I've been saying she's tried to commit self-murder or not self-murder, self-suicide all the time, and I was like, wait, self-suicide and self-murder, it's still suicide. And they're just, everybody who hears me say it is like, is Paula okay? And Paula's not okay, because if she has to listen to this and she has to read it and her mind is working through it, I'm talking about myself in third person now, it's but and then in this last post, not only was she dealing with seeing her mom's ex-boyfriend who essayed her, she was basically, she called the only person that knew her situation about the essay, which was her ex at the time, or still ex at the time, or still ex, whatever you want to say. Anyway, she could only call him because he was the only one that knew the situation and knew why she needed him. And he completely manipulated the system and the situation because he let her relax, bed rot, scroll on her phone, do what she needed to do, and he took care of the baby. And then after he put the baby to bed, he didn't leave. He gave her flowers, he gave her attention, and then she did something she absolutely regretted, and she admitted that she regrets it, and she slept with him. And now she's just like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I don't want to get back together with this man because he is abusive and he scares me. And and the next episode just rolls more into that, and this poor girl, I feel so sorry for her. And I will give more thoughts and opinions on that later, because now I just bumped this back up to 2 hours. But yeah, sorry for my ranting and raving. Back to myself in the past. This is me in the future, guys. This is actually me 5 days in the future, because my schedule from the holidays just made everything all wacky do. And I was recording on Thanksgiving, and I had to stop and go to my brother's house and have Thanksgiving there, and then I had to come back and record. And it's like 5-6 hours of me recording, but it was like spaced in between family time. So yeah, sorry again. But yeah, this episode went up a day late. So whoever's listening to me rant and ramble, I am so sorry. The episode was late, one, but sorry for making you listen to me rant and ramble, because I honestly wanted to punch a guy that I don't know. And that's just how my feelings are, because because I see the account of what she's putting in there, and she's like, this is how it's happening, and this is what's going on, and this is how I feel. But then she's getting all these comments of these people telling her, please leave this guy, and she's not listening. And I get that she was groomed, and that she was taught that, hey, it's okay that we're in this relationship, even though it's not okay. And she doesn't understand that she needs to get away until later, and then she's kind of relapsing, and then it's one of those like situations. I need to calm down and relax. And I'm going to finish editing this episode so I can go to bed, and the episode will be up and posted. But yeah, I'm going to let this go back to the other me. Alright, I didn't want to have to do this, but we still have like 26 more posts from OP/M, or whatever we're going to call her. So I'm going to have to separate this into 2 episodes. So I will see you guys next week with the last 26 stories. If you cried or yelled at the screen for OP/M, whatever we're going to call her, and are wondering exactly what I was wondering as well, because my thoughts were, she is obviously making all these posts because she's trying to use Reddit as a therapy, as a way to cry out for help. And she does break up with him, and where the last post we read, she said she broke up with him because they were going on and off. And apparently they were on an off part because she said he had anger issues, anger management, and she didn't think he would be trustful around the baby. And she was finally, honestly, listening to all the Redditors saying, please get rid of him, please stop. But as we know from episode 2, he does get arrested. We will probably get into that later. I skimmed some of the titles from the 26 posts that are left. A lot of them are not going to be on her subreddit, but I will post her subreddit so you can talk to her, give her advice if you need to or want to. My heart honestly reaches out for her. I hope she can get away from this town. I hope she can get into therapy. I hope, in all honesty, that this girl can get away from the situation that she's in, not just with her baby daddy, but with her current situation, because if you remember from episode 2, her best friend, who was OP in episode 2, was saying that she got into, or was going to get into, a relationship with her brother's friend, who took them to a pumpkin patch. And he said he wouldn't be opposed to dating her. And I'm thinking she's getting ready to fall back into that situation, because her latest post on her subreddit is, or on her profile is, am I the asshole for freaking out on my boyfriend during sex? So, yeah. I would like to hear your guys' opinions. Comment down below if you're on Spotify or YouTube. If not, go to my website, which will be in the YouTube. I will find a way to link it in my podcast as well. I'll put it in my bio. That way you guys can find it. Like I said, I want it to be more than just me talking, because I want a whole thread of voices. So don't be shy. Until next time, stay petty, stay curious, and remember, drama can always be found and served here. And I will see you next week to finish out OP/M story, because it's still ongoing as well, and hopefully she will have more posted. See you next time, guys. Bye.